What up, all my fight fans? So, Aljamain Sterling recently did out, I guess you could say a podcast video or some type of video that he did. I believe he's on vacation with a few friends and whatnot. Hopefully, he's having a good time. But in this video, he actually had mentioned about the Israel Adesanya loss to Sean Strickland and how they are really pushing for Israel Adesanya to get a rematch with Sean Strickland. And that's not the case right there. What Aljamain Sterling is referring to is that basically he's seeing that Israel Adesanya had recently lost the belt to Alex Pereira. And then he gets a rematch and wins the belt back. Now he loses the belt to Sean Strickland, and now they're really trying to push for a rematch. And Aljamain, who is basically, I guess, in somewhat considered the best bantamweight of all time, has had I think he tied for the most title defenses, loses his belt to Sean O'Malley back in August, and does not get a rematch. Now, first, before we get in more into what he said, let's break it down, of course. He also mentioned, like, you look at Aljamain Sterling's wins and title defenses, it's kind of similar to Israel's wins and title defenses. They are both, out of the 11 fights, I want to say both, but out of 11 fights, Israel Adesanya is 8-3, and Aljamain Sterling is 9-2. So, you know, they both have certain similarities that show, like, yes, there's been some fights that have been very exciting for Israel, but then there are some fights that have been a little bit of a snooze fest. Same thing with Aljamain. There's been some fights that are kind of exciting, but then there's some fights that are like kind of like, all right, this is actually a little bit boring. Now, where he sees the rematch with Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya, which a lot of people do agree that there shouldn't be a rematch because Sean Strickland pretty much clearly beat Israel Adesanya, 100%. Now, it's understandable why Israel Adesanya got a rematch with Alex Pereira, because Alex Pereira pretty much was able to knock him out even though he was losing the fight. Israel Adesanya was pretty much winning the entire fight until that last minute where he was able to get clipped by Alex Pereira and pretty much got his lights put out. But then he gets a rematch and wins that fight. So in this fight with Sean Strickland, he doesn't do that and pretty much gets dominated the entire fight, not at least 4 rounds out of 5. Where Aljamain Sterling is concerned, he gets clipped. Like, you know, it wasn't something like as if he was getting dominated and he was getting, you know, it was not competitive. The fight was just barely starting. In that first round, some people gave it to Aljamain. There wasn't a whole lot that went down. But Aljamain did get clipped and did go down, and the fight did get stopped. Now, is he should he be able to get a rematch? In some sense, yes. Due to that fight alone. There's other reasons why he shouldn't. We'll get into that in a bit. But due to the fight alone, yes, he should. Because he did get clipped. The fight did get stopped. And it wasn't 100% a clear, like, oh, domination. Like, this is going to happen always. This is going to happen always. Not necessarily. I believe he got in there. He got caught. Sean O'Malley caught Aljamain and pretty much put him down. And the fight was stopped. Some may say prematurely stopped because of the fact that, you know, Aljamain was still moving. But that's neither here or there. It is what it is. So, the big question is, now with that we broke that down, on why Aljamain Sterling is talking about this and what example he's trying to use, now that we pretty much broke all that down, does he deserve a title shot? Does he deserve a rematch? Since Israel Adesanya is getting a rematch. No, he does not. Why? Because, and I'm not saying because of the fight. If it was just from the fight alone, yes, he does. But because of the fact that he's already had a lot of ups and downs with Dana White and the UFC with the Bantamweight Championship belt. He has a friend that we all know, Merab, who is by far the number 1 contender for that championship belt. And he has openly said, as a matter of fact, both of them have openly said they are not going to fight each other. That's a problem. Especially when one of them's already a number 1 contender and the other one is a champion. So if Aljamain Sterling were to get that championship belt, go against Sean O'Malley, win the belt quite possibly, That means the belt is now up for grabs for Marab and Aljamain, two people who have already said they are not going to fight each other. So why would the UFC want to give a chance to Aljamain Sterling, a chance for a rematch to get the belt back when you do not plan on defending it against your friend? You do plan on winning it and vacating it for your friend. And that's not something the UFC really likes, because it almost makes them seem like they're paper champions, that they're not really champions, that they did not beat the guy that holds the belt. The guy who holds the belt pretty much dropped the belt and went to a different division, which Aljamain Sterling has openly said he wants to do. So, yeah, moving forward, I can see why the UFC is not too keen on giving Aljamain Sterling a rematch. Exactly the same reason why they're not too keen on giving Merab a title shot, because Merab has already said that, hey, I don't want a title shot. I want my friend Aljamain to get a rematch. No, your friend Aljamain had that shot. He had the championship. He was the champion. Now it's your turn. Let's get this division moving. And quite possibly, Aljamain would be very clear to get another shot at that belt. But if he was willing to fight his friend, which he's not willing to do, which is understandable. Fine, don't fight your friend. But you can't expect to be a champion in a division where your friend is at. My personal opinion for Aljamain is what he needs to do is stop this and go up to the featherweight. Do the thing that you wanted to do in the first place, that you said you were going to do if you did beat Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is always going to be there. Sean O'Malley is always going to be either a champion or a fighter, whatever or whatnot, but he's always going to be there. Hell, if Merab just so happens to go in there and cannot beat Sean O'Malley or someone else within the bantamweight division, then there's nothing stopping you from going over there and, hey, taking on that challenge again. Maybe, who knows, maybe Merab can actually go to flyweight and take on them, because he's actually a very, very small bantamweight. He's still able to get the job done, but very, very small nonetheless. So, yeah, with that being said, guys, does Aljamain Sterling deserve a rematch? Should Aljamain Sterling get another crack at Sean O'Malley? Let me know in the comments, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.